everyone. Welcome to our New Year's Goals podcast. We are actually going to be talking today not about setting New Year's goals, but about reconnecting with our New Year's resolutions. I'm Erin Zilka with Kona Financial Planning.
And I'm Lizz Schneider with Infinity Wealth Company. So we are bringing you wealthy empowerment now. If not now, when? We want to help you do it now. Take care of yourself now. Make it happen now.
Absolutely. So happy belated New Year and welcome to our podcast. Today, as I mentioned, we do want to talk about reconnecting with our New Year's goals. So often we take steps to make resolutions that are important to us at the beginning of each year, but then slowly along the way, we kind of lose sight of those goals and the steps that we need to take to reach them. And we allow ourselves to fall back into sometimes some bad habits or unhealthy habits, but we fall back into the habits that we have created over so many years. So we want to talk about a few things that Lizz and I have found that help us stay on track with our own goals personally, as well as some of the steps that we have used working with some of our clients that have helped them to stay focused on pursuing their goals. They're just small changes that help us to really maintain focus and drive in pursuing those goals.
So thanks, Erin. We're aiming to empower our listeners and readers to take steps now. And again, going back to that wealthy empowerment now, because a lot of times we're thinking about when's the best time to do something. And we can all say that we should have done this, we could have done this back in our 20s or back, a long time ago. There's always a better time, but I always say the second best time is today. So if not now, when? So again, we want to empower you, our listeners and readers, to take steps now to reach your goals by sharing stories and simple steps of how we help our clients to pursue your goals. Erin and I are certified financial planner professionals, as well as investment advisor representatives. We offer investment advice through Mariner Platform Solutions. We maintain a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interest of our clients. People often ask us, what is a fiduciary exactly? So to be clear, a fiduciary is a person or an organization who manages money or property and acts on behalf of another person, usually a client, with the duty to preserve good faith and trust. So we are bound, not only ethically, but legally, to act in the other person's best interest in all situations. This means that we are held to a higher standard when communicating with our clients and making recommendations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that clarification and the detail, Lizz. We are going to get into some of the more fun stories, but we do want to make sure that we are defining some things along the way so there's a little bit more clarity. So throughout this podcast series, we are going to focus, as Lizz mentioned, many of our discussions around sharing stories, of course, while absolutely maintaining the confidentiality of all of our client relationships, but stories that we hope are going to help you understand that your goals are within your reach. Oftentimes storytelling is the best way for you to really relate to the information that we're sharing and for it to sink in or hit home, for you to remember that these are the steps we're encouraging going forward. So as Lizz mentioned, you're going to hear us say this a lot. There is no better time than now. It is a motto that we like to rely on. So the steps that we're going to talk about and share with you today are all things that you can start working toward now.
And as this is our initial podcast, please be kind, but we hope that you do watch all the way to the end. We want to give you a little bit of background about ourselves and why we think it's worth your time to spend this time listening to us. While our focus with clients often centers around financial planning and wealth management, Erin and I also find ourselves somewhat acting as financial counselors to our clients in so many ways, because people who work with us seek us out for guidance and solutions to their concerns. We actively listen to our clients and collaborate with them to find solutions best suited to meet their needs and concerns. We then create a plan that we can help them implement to remain focused on your values and priorities, as well as to pursue your goals. So with that, I'm Liz Schneider. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background about myself. I have been in the wealth management or financial planning business for over 25 years now. So I actually started in the banking business and then went to a top 10 accounting firm back in the early 2000s, where I became a certified financial planner professional. And really, my goal has always been focusing on helping my clients to talk about their goals, prioritize their goals, make a plan to reach those goals. So it's really it's the service after that we're meeting with our clients and talking them through this. So about 5 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be able to work with a company based out of LA and really start managing my own practice of clients. And that has helped me to really move toward this goal of helping not only the clients that we work with to help them feel empowered to take more steps in their financial planning direction, whether it's retirement or another goal, but really start working on articles and now this podcast with you, and really to have more steps that we're able to help others reach those empowerment goals. So that wealthy empowerment now is just something that's really, I am passionate about. And hopefully we end up doing more and really reaching more people with this podcast series or newsletter, articles, and things like that. So I'm excited to be doing that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Liz. So a little bit about me. As I mentioned, my name is Erin Zilka. I own Kona Financial Planning. I have been operating as a financial advisor since 2009. I operate throughout the Ohio and Chicagoland area. I do have clients across the country. But I think one of the things that I have always been passionate about is encouraging people and being a bit of a cheerleader. As Liz mentioned, a lot of what we do with our clients over time, while we do focus on financial planning and wealth management, there are so many pieces I think that we incorporate in the overall planning process. But the biggest thing and the most important thing I've told people from day one is the relationships that we build with our clients. Both Liz and I are originally from the Midwest, and we have kind of that, Midwest mentality, service-based. It's very important to us to provide as much value as we can when working with our clients, and also the encouragement to show them that oftentimes it's not necessarily that they're not able to reach their goals. It's understanding what specific tools and resources they can tap into or they need to make use of to help pursue those goals a little more easily than the path that they have started on before we get a chance to connect. So as Liz mentioned, it is so important to us to be able to share this information with a broader audience and making sure that we are trying to give back as much as we can with what we've learned throughout the process and working with our clients in becoming certified financial planner professionals. We truly believe that we are in a good position to be able to share some of that knowledge and those resources with so many more. And that, I think, is one of the main goals that we're hoping to really pursue with this Wealthy Empowerment Now. And you're going to hear us continue to refer to that because it's something that we are both very passionate about. So now that you know a little bit more about us and our backgrounds, we'd like to really kick off this podcast, as we've alluded to up to this point, by discussing what we think is one of the most popular topics when starting the new year: New Year's resolutions. Obviously, we are a little ways into the new year, so we are working on reconnecting with what those goals are that we originally set. We all have them, or at least we think about them, whether we set them every single year or every other year. We may be a little hit or miss about it. We're all human. But we try to be as committed to them as we can to start the year off. But then, time passes, we get busy, the chaos of everyday life kind of comes into play, and motivation to achieve those resolutions or those goals can quickly kind of become scarce and we lose sight of them.
So at the beginning of this year, I had some great intentions, as I do every year. I'm a big, big believer in planning. So I had all my ideas, but literally by February 1st, I'm going, okay, I had this list, this 75 days, the nutrition, the exercise and all that. And sometimes you're just not even following up. So you're like, where am I? What were my goals? So, how do we fight this? How do we stay driven to improve ourselves through the goals we set for ourselves? So, and what method can we make use of to help us achieve these goals? So, we're here, we're going to give you some ideas, 3 ideas today that you can implement now to help you move forward towards your goals.
Absolutely. So, step number one, what we believe is probably one of the more important ones, is define your goal. Liz and I both like to dream big. We know that a lot of people can set very big goals for themselves, but it is very important to define what that goal is. Prioritize it. Make sure it's something that you are passionate about, that you feel you can be dedicated to, and define it very specifically.
On the idea of dreaming, dream big, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a visionary type person. I like to think big and then kind of go from there and see how we can make it happen. One of the things I feel very strongly about is when you're talking about that, when you're dreaming big, if you can visualize, close your eyes and visualize yourself actually taking part in that dream that you're talking about. If you can visualize it, you can achieve it. So we're here to help you hopefully along that journey of getting to those goals. So you start big and you define what that goal is. It can be certainly more than one thing, but you definitely want to dream big and be able to visualize yourself in that role.
I agree with you completely. There's so many studies out there, so much research, and then so many theories out there as well that our thoughts create and really drive our actions and what becomes our reality. So, being able to visualize it, like you said, I think is such a strong motivator and really does help us to keep working towards, once we envision it, working towards pursuing that goal and staying dedicated to it. So,
Right.
the next step to me, I think, is one of the most important parts to me. I need to actually stick with this every time or I know it won't happen. Step 2, write it down. We don't care where you write it down or how you do it, but writing it down, whether it's in a journal, if it's in Post-it notes and you stick them all over a wall that you're gonna see every single day. I actually have gotten into a habit in my office. Oftentimes, I have a mirror hanging on the wall, and I will take a dry erase marker and I will write down my goal or a motivational quote for the day or whatever it is. I write it down and I see it every single day. And for me, it's a great way to prompt the conversation with others, to kind of remind me every single day that it's there, it's at the forefront of my brain, it's something that I'm working towards, and it helps me stay dedicated to it. I think so many of us, we think about the things that we want to work towards and we want to achieve. But if we don't have the conversations, we don't share it with others, and we don't write it down so that we are revisiting it on a daily basis, it's very hard to see that vision through. So,
I love the idea. Love the idea of writing it down on a mirror. I have whiteboards and I have all sorts of different things, but right on the mirror. So you can do that with your little write on, wipe off. You just do that on the mirror.
absolutely. I write it on with a dry erase marker. I Windex it off if it's
Love
something that I haven't really, if I achieve it and I work on it and I move forward, easy to just set the next one up, but I see it every day.
That's great. I mean, whether it's with your kids, yourself, your spouse, I mean, and or your clients at work or your coworkers, you could even put like a little little mirror next to your desk, whatever. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, What I like to do as far as writing, I've always been a huge journal person. I probably have some sort of a um, collection that I'm always, if I'm in a store at the checkout at TJ Maxx, they always have those cute little notebooks. I'm always adding to my collection of notebooks. So I believe in that physical writing down with pen and paper. The activity for me, it just I can really have a topic or just going over what happened the day before. But one of the things with the goals that I like to do is, you start writing down the goal, and it enforces, or it kind of encourages you to start writing down, what are the good things about this goal? What are the bad things about this goal? Am I crazy about, this goal? And why am I not crazy? Because a lot of things, the written word kind of makes you memorialize what you want to get done. So statistically, if you write it down, you have a much greater chance of succeeding at reaching that goal. So it's really important for some, to make sure that you get that written down. I think you do the journaling also, Erin.
Yeah, I love journaling, and we've talked about this, before, as much as I believe in it. And I know you've mentioned that you'll buy journals and give them with your clients and share and encourage them to write things down as well. You've mentioned before sitting down first thing in the morning with your cup of coffee, and that's kind of how you start your day with your journal. And I think that that is such a great habit because, like you said, it just reinforces that this is something that you're focused on. This is how you're starting your day and your focus for the day. And there are, I've read studies, we've heard things before where you're most creative first thing in the morning. That's why so many professionals and so many highly successful people say that the first couple hours of their day, every single day, are very important to them to stay motivated on doing things to improve their health, to improve their creativity, and to really help them take the next steps in the growth process, whether it's personally or professionally. So I
Yeah.
think starting your day out that way is just such a strong way to do it.
I know there's a motivational speaker, Brian Tracy,
Mhm.
and he calls it your superconscious mind, I think, where, you wake up and you just have the thoughts right there. And it's just so easy sometimes to think of what, the goals for the day, or what do you want to get done. And for some people, that is right before they go to bed as well. I think you have to find what works for you, but statistically, studies show it's in the morning. People say I get great ideas in the shower, and that's why, because that's first thing in the morning.
Write them down in the shower.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I definitely think that's a good thing. However, even though the written word is a great thing, keep in mind, if you're tech savvy too, there definitely are some great journaling apps out there for free. And some people have told me that they don't want to write anything down because they're afraid somebody else might see it, for whatever reason, variety of reasons. So then I would encourage you to look online for one of those journaling apps. The one that I use happens to have a lock, that you put a passcode in, so nobody's getting in there. So I save that for the really good stuff. Um, so yeah, so there's options, even the back of a napkin, if you have an idea and you need to write it down, get it down. Cause if you're like me, 10 minutes later, that idea might have passed.
Percent. I agree with you completely. Whatever method it is that works for you, go with what is comfortable, go with what is most natural. But really, it's just the focus of making sure that you're writing it down in some way. So we promised 3 steps. So the third step that we have in mind today is identifying one small step that you can take to work toward achieving that goal. We truly believe that baby steps are great. Patience is a priority. Work on creating the consistency and the habit every single day through these baby steps, even if it's just 5-10 minutes a day, if you can sit down and think of something that is going to help you get a little bit closer, or it's going to work towards pursuing that goal that you've set for yourself, the creating that consistency and staying focused on it every single day is so incredibly important, because the more that we practice it on a daily basis, the more it becomes habit. It becomes innate to us. It really truly becomes part of your character and your personality. So creating that consistency, even when you don't feel like it, do something small.
Yep.
So that is something that we truly believe is very important.
Yes, and I have to throw it in there. So if you have not seen the movie, it's Bill Murray movie called What About Bob? And his therapist is Richard Dreyfuss, and he is the therapist who has written this amazing, supposedly book called Baby Steps. And it's a hysterical movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely take the time. It's family friendly. My whole family loves it, but it really, I've seen it. I don't know how many years ago, but the baby steps really, it stuck with me, and it's just a comedy, but it's actually a really valid piece of advice. So, whether it's again, what tasks are you going to get done today? What is your focus going to be? Because we all have, if I look at my whole entire task list for the day, I mean, we're talking 30, 40, 50 items that I should be working on. But what I really try to do every day is to say, okay, what three things can I do that will help work toward one of my top goals? So, and you put it's in your task list on your phone, in your notes on your phone, on the wallpaper on your phone. So anywhere where you're going to potentially see that again, because again, you see it written down, you're going to have a much greater likelihood of achieving that minimal little goal that we set that day.
I love that. And I love the reference to What About Bob? My family and I definitely huge fans of that movie too. I can't tell you how many times we'd be working on something and then all of a sudden we tell ourselves, baby step, baby step, baby step, baby step. If you haven't seen
Right.
the movie, please see it, because it is a great reminder. We talked about patience being a priority. This definitely reinforces patience with yourself and patience with others as you are working to pursue your
Right.
goal. Um,
Right. I know, be kind to yourself. I mean, that's the whole thing of all of this. I mean, all of these steps, whether we're talking about it today or hopefully you tune in and hear us on future podcasts that we're so excited to be bringing to you, the whole thing is that we're on a journey. Aaron and I are on a journey, and we're still in the growth phase. So we love what we do, but there's more that we want to accomplish. So we're doing the same things in our personal lives, our family lives, and our work lives. So we just want to share that because we do think we're pretty good at what we do. And our clients like what we have to say most of the time. Maybe not in a down market, but but the reality is, if you're continually working toward it and you're persevering towards those goals, that's the important thing. And really having somebody to share that with. So maybe you can't pick up the phone today and reach out to us and have a little chat with us, but what you can do is hear what we're saying. We're here to help you reach your goals. We're here to help you on that journey to reach your goals. And again, it's a journey. That there's not some magical deadline that says, hello world, I reached the goal. Because really, when you reach that goal, something else is going to evolve, or life is going to happen, and things are going to change. But sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we're going through some hard patches, and we don't know how to get out of it. So certainly, if you're watching this, you're probably already a high achiever. So, but you might be thinking of a friend that, oh my gosh, that friend of mine could really use this. Share it with them. We love to build our group who loves to hear our podcast, who likes to hear what we're having to say. I think we're really down to earth. And we really just want to help you along the same paths that we're helping our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that you said. And as you mentioned, as Liz mentioned, while you may not be able to pick up the phone and call us right now if you don't have immediate access to us, we are going to include a link to our websites in the podcast notes, as well as email that you can reach out to us if you have questions. Our hope is, as we continue to grow this series, if you have questions that you want to learn more about and it's something that we can provide guidance on, we are more than happy to do it and include it. Along the lines of just pursuing goals and setting up a plan for yourselves, Liz and I have a much more detailed structure that we typically use when we're working with our clients to help them pursue their goals. So throughout the next several podcasts, we're going to cover some of those additional steps that we believe can help kind of keep you on track and working towards a goal. So we hope that you'll join us and learn a little bit more as we go and stay connected with your long-term goals. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, Erin, what is your website?
So my website is www.konafinancialplanning.com, or you can just look it up at konafp.com.
Right. My website is www.infinitywealthco.com. And yes, you can look it up many different ways. So we hope to see you there. We have some additional information, some articles and things that you might find of interest there as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today. We look forward to having you join us on the next podcast.
Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you with us the next time.
Thank you. As a reminder, investment advisory services are offered through Mariner Platform Solutions, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Kona Financial Planning, Infinity Wealth Company, and Mariner Platform Solutions are not affiliated entities. The views and opinions expressed in the podcast are for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing should be construed as personalized advice or recommendation of any kind. All expressions of opinion are subject to change without notice, and there is no guarantee that any claims made will come to pass. We do not guarantee the accuracy of the information provided. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal.